Can you see what is standing there?
Insanity, imprisonment and murder await the most haunted team in Herefordshire. Hello, welcome to Most Haunted at Hellens Manor in Herefordshire. 5 miles from Ledbury, the village of Muchmarcle holds a house called Hellens, a house that looks haunted and feels haunted. Originally built in the 11th century, the manor's first residents were French monks sent by William the Conqueror. Yet since then, a right royal feel has been bestowed upon this land, with several kings and queens known to have stayed here. Hellens, though, hasn't escaped disrepute. Treasure is said to lie in a secret underground tunnel that remains unclaimed. And many men were hung at the gallows in this very courtyard during the 14th century. Now run as a museum through a family trust, the building is said to attract many ghosts. But will Hellens Manor provide our investigation with proof of the paranormal?
The place goes back to about 1292, and we're talking about some of the actual building that you can see. It was last renovated or modernised at the time of King Charles I. Originally it was some form of monastery, but by about 1300 the de Ballon family, obviously from France, took the place over.
Here in the music room, the ghost of a man thought to be Sir Philip Musgrave has been seen with regular occurrence. He's been seen wandering aimlessly from wall to wall.
We then go on to the famous people that have had associations here, and a lady called Iseult, who was no less than the sister of Roger Mortimer, who of course was the man that was responsible for the horrendous death of King Edward II at Berkeley Castle. He visited this place on many occasions. We then go on to the Walwyn family, and there's a lady called Hetty or Bridget, we're not sure which, we may find out later tonight, who married someone beneath her. He died, she came back and threw her mercy on her mother, and her mother locked her away in the bedroom.
This is Hetty Walwyn's room, so called because she was imprisoned in here for 30 years. She went mad and eventually committed suicide. Her only contact with the outside world was pulling on this cord. So it's no surprise that she has been seen in this room and throughout the entire building.
We then go on to Mary Tudor, Bloody Mary. She stayed here and her bedroom is still preserved to this day. The family were famous Catholics and, of course, clung on to the old faith. There would have been Catholic priests here, priest holes here, and possibly priests captured, taken out and hanged, drawn and quartered for high treason at the time of Mary's sister, Queen Elizabeth.
Here in Bloody Mary's room, a monk was cornered by Roundheads and brutally murdered. Ever since then, his ghost has been seen many times by many different people. Some say he stumbles through the door in the dead of night. Others see him floating across the floor. Wherever this apparition is seen, it's described as horrifying.
We have the ghost of a lady seen on the top floor by Nicholas, the curator.
Suddenly I was aware of a presence. I looked and there was a woman standing next to me.
He says that he's actually seen a figure wearing a mob cap and a tight dress.
And she was right there, absolutely silent, next to me, not absolutely dense, but not either completely sort of vapid, a kind of charcoal density that didn't, it's very hard to explain.
He stared at her for ages and she didn't disappear. Eventually he didn't know what to do. He thought he might put his hand through it, but daren't.
So finally I decided to look away. So I looked away, counted to 20 under my breath, and then looked back and absolutely nothing. And no reason either for a configuration. I mean, you know, there wasn't anything that would have made that form, and it was very strange, I must say, very strange. It was only then that I began to feel had a bit of a reaction, had the hairs on the back of the neck go up and all that, you know. Very strange.
There is so much history in the place, and there's so many ghost stories, that I'm sure that tonight we're in for one hell of an investigation. And I really can't wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be great.
The team arrived in Herefordshire to be greeted by a hidden and hopefully haunted gem, and we now all have big expectations. But are we right by buying into this building's supernatural suggestion? Parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe has his own thoughts.
Hellens Manor to me is absolutely stunning. It has everything that you'd think of as a haunted location, a haunted house. It looks absolutely scary inside, and I imagine at night time it's going to really frighten everybody as well.
Definitely, and it has a fabulous history to match and some great activity. So yeah, it does look like your archetypal haunted location.
What are you expecting to happen tonight with the crew? Because it's very frightening inside. It does have this eerie atmosphere.
Definitely. Well, in a location where there's already a lot of suggestion built up, where the crew are expecting something to happen, and they maybe have levels of belief depending on the experiences they've had before, it's always very, very difficult to separate any natural things that happen from paranormal. Something in psychology that we call cognitive dissonance. There's an expectancy for something to happen, there's a belief that something that will happen, and then if anything natural happens, they'll immediately attribute it to something supernatural, rather than looking for a natural explanation. And I think with a location like this, which is stereotypically a haunted location, you're going to get people immediately attributing anything that happens to a paranormal source, and that's something we've really got to be careful of tonight.
So we now know of those who lived here, but what of those alleged to haunt here? We headed along the ground floor, ready to test this building's claim of a tortured daughter and murdered monk. Perhaps spiritualist mediums Derek Okora and David Wells can help our quest to hear the voice that resonates from within Hellens Manor.
And I'm picking up a female, a lady, and she carries a sorrow with her. It's like a shawl of sorrow, as if she's shrouded with this, not a physical shawl, but her head down.
And you're picking her up in this room?
I feel she comes in here.
Right.
There's a feeling of hatred in the atmosphere as well. Hatred to some people. And it's people who are close to her. People, maybe family. She hates certain people. And she still feels that to this present day. And she's constantly flaying herself. She has not gone truly into the world of spirit. She released herself from the bondage. I feel she's committed suicide. She killed herself.
Hellens had many tales to tell, but surely none so sad as the daughter thought to have brought disgrace upon her family. The very same female who lived, died, and possibly still haunts here. But how will her story unfold?
But to treat one human being like this is just appalling.
Tucked away in Herefordshire's countryside is one of Britain's most intriguing treasures, Hellens Manor. A house that once hosted royals and that now may offer us a tantalising glimpse into life after death. So, having heard of such a sorrowful female, we head into a room that strongly hints at Helen's stately past.
This is my favourite room. I love it in here. Yeah, I love the fireplace. The fact that you can, the figures have all sort of blended into one over time. It's fantastic.
It's great.
Now, you won't believe what's just come to me as we've just come into this spot. It's like as if there's a spirit man, and he actually goes towards that amazing fireplace there. When he's in visitation, if someone was here physical, they may see a shadowy figure. They would most certainly hear him probably walking.
Who is he then?
Well, who is this man? For the first time ever in my mediumship, I'm confused in a situation where why would a man of God, the cloth, not go over properly? You know, it's the done thing. The person's had a faith in... It's a priest. It's a priest.
Right.
Is it just one priest here, or are there others?
If there's one grounded, if other priests... he was attached here. He was attached to this building, this one. He wasn't like, coming in the door and saying hello. It's like he belongs here.
Right.
So I feel he must have... If he belonged here, I feel possibly he lived here.
A holy man in a home that once housed monks. But was this a connection that we'd hear more from as we head up to the first floor?
Now I'm getting I've got blood everywhere. And someone's screaming.